the Weather Up Center in Tempe, Arizona. It's time for Sun Devil Extra. Braiden Bell joined alongside Arizona State AD Graham Rossini. Graham, Thanksgiving in the books, fall sports into the postseason now, wrapping up winter sports all the way here. How was your holiday?
It was good. We got mics. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I know, it's a little weird.
A little bit of an adjustment here, right?
Yeah.
Life is a series of adjustments, so we'll do that today. Thanksgiving was last week. That's hard to remember at this point. It was great. Quiet afternoon up at my wife's parents' house in Cave Creek. Kids ate a lot, like an alarming amount. Okay. Turkey and pie, but it was great. How about you?
It was good. I ate an alarming amount as well, and the post-meal nap was outstanding, as you'd expect.
You don't get those when you have kids, so enjoy that while you can get it, because it's like, hey, we got to go play, or we got in the hot tub, or we want more food. So no post-meal naps. Enjoy it while you can.
I will say my amount of food I'm able to eat on Thanksgiving, I can tell it's going down a little bit. I'm starting to become unk, and it is a little sad. But nonetheless, we dive in. Last week on the show, obviously, we talked about how busy the week was going to be. Yep. Truly one of the busiest weeks of the year, crossover season in full force, and obviously just having the holiday as well. It was action all over campus all week long. We start talking about football, and obviously the end of the regular season, the game against Arizona. Obviously didn't go the way of the Sun Devils, 8-4, 6-3 in Big 12 play, the final regular season record. But I think instead of talking too much about that game, we talk about the season as a whole. Right. 8-4 with the injuries this team battled through, and still a chance to win 20 games in 2 years. That was a message from Coach Dillingham. There's still a bowl game to be played that hasn't been announced yet as well. Yeah,
no doubt. And let's talk about the team in a minute. But first off, shout out to our teams that delivered last week. I think we had over maybe a dozen home events across the week. Naturally, we had a triple header on Friday, once again on Saturday. A lot going on behind the scenes in support of our fans, our coaches, our athletes. All departments throughout Sun Devil Athletics helped pull that off. It was amazing to see the orchestration of everything that went into a week like last week. But a lot of fun, a lot of winning throughout the week as well, and culminated into a just incredible atmosphere Friday night. There was a moment, usually don't do this, but there was a moment when the team took the field. It just kind of stopped to really pause the environment and was just blown away at just the noise, the good noise, but the noise from the fan base. The fireworks were going off. The student section was jumping. It was a really cool moment to kind of see how far that we've all come, and certainly how far our football program has come. The fact that we're playing last game of the regular season with a chance to play into the Big 12 championship, and a lot on the line. And outcome not what we were hoping for, but Coach nailed his message to the team afterwards of just this group of seniors that's really put this program on the map. Most people in that room committed to this program when they were 3-9, either time, coming off the final year of the previous coaching staff, or after the first year of this new coaching staff, to say yes to a 3-9 program that was selling potential and selling optimism, and to be at a point in the program where there's definitely a good trend line and a lot of progression in what we're doing. A really proud moment in an otherwise miserable moment, right? You hate losing to that team in particular, but when you could kind of find the perspective in the immediate moment, a lot to be thankful of, and a lot to know that we're heading in a very strong direction.
I'm glad you brought up the senior class, because they will be the foundational pieces years from now. You can look back on that class that really turned the tide for this program. And even being in the stadium during that senior festivities about 25 minutes or so before kickoff, the fan base was engaged with that too. Sometimes those things get blown over a little bit. Right. People are still filing into their seats. You could tell this fan base really did appreciate the senior class, as they should, and it was cool to see so many people be given the ovation that they deserve.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment was Ben Coleman getting the suit up and coming back out for his senior night. Just horrible injury that took him off the field after the Utah game, but has remained, obviously around the team every day, and just one of those players that you'll look back and say he was a part of the group that really set a different expectation. Ben is wildly talented. He's going to have a bright future, whatever he chooses to do. We want to keep him very close to the Sun Devils, but that was one ovation in particular that I was really interested to see. I didn't expect him coming out in uniform. I wasn't looped in on that, cool. But it was a really cool moment. But then you think about Clayton and Jacob Kangaika and Jeff Sims and the ovation that he got. It was really cool to see the fans participating in that moment, because typically that's a pregame. It's a nice thing to do. The families really enjoy it. The coaching staff can get emotional, but the fact that the fan base was that into that particular moment tells you what Sun Devil Nation thinks about this group of seniors. It was really cool to see.
Not a senior, but Jordan Tyson also as well was honored that moment. Of course, he has a very bright future, as we all know. Yep. He got a great ovation as well. Moving forward now into bowl season, that announcement will come a little bit later on, and we'll talk about that obviously on the show when that happens. But take us through kind of that process, because there are so many different bowls you could get slotted into. We all read the projections, of course. There's still some question marks about where we could end up as a bowl representative. But what is that process like?
Yeah, I think as we're sitting here on a Tuesday afternoon, there's probably two options that are realistic at this point. There's some things that could change depending on how the conference championships play out Friday night and then into Saturday, including BYU and kind of what happens to them, whether they're in the CFP or not. We're still in a little bit of the transition within the bowl where there's still what's called the Pac-12 Legacy Bowl. So from a bowl standpoint, we're still considered a member of the Pac-12. And so, we're jostling with USC and Washington and some of the other schools that we're not, in the same conference as every day, but in the eyes of the bowls, we're still considered in the Pac-12. So a lot going on behind the scenes as far as that goes. There's different strategies. There's different schools of thought in terms of the timing of the bowl, the location of the bowl. We and the bowls want a great turnout. They want something that's going to look good on TV. They want to make sure that fans can attend. And so regardless of how it plays out, would be announced by Sunday at the latest, maybe sooner, depending on what happens in the next couple of days. But a lot of interest in the bowls that want the Sun Devils in their respective games. So it's nice to be wanted. It's nice to be getting the phone calls. We had 4 different bowls represented at the game Friday night with representatives there to see it and see the fan base. And again, really proud of how our fans have showed up all season long to kind of put that in the minds of, we traveled really well to Atlanta last year. We had more fans than Texas did in the CFP. And so that's a pretty good testament for the level of engagement of our fan base, and it helps these bowl decision makers understand that the Sun Devils are going to travel in support of their team, and it's a great national brand to be tied into at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned Atlanta, and then obviously, as we've talked about so many times, the perfect sellout streak, 7 games, home games, all sold out this year as well.
Let's include last year, and let's go to 8.
Thank you.
Including BYU.
I said that a couple of weeks ago on the show, and I keep seeing it on social. Let's give the BYU crowd some props from last year as well. So 8 in a row, dating back to last season. Hopefully we carry that forward as well, of course. You want to talk about big crowds, hopefully to come. It's a huge week for the volleyball program, hosting the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament, a 2 seed, as was announced over the weekend. Obviously, it is a really, really impressive squad. Big 12 champs, as we've talked about plenty of times, but now you're 0-0, and you get a chance to really make some noise in a historic level. J.J. Van Niel's squad will start with playing Coppin State on Thursday, and then Friday, if they beat Coppin State, hopefully we'll see the winner of Tennessee or Utah State. And they hosted last year, of course, lost in the second round, but still, it's such a special moment to be able to host the NCAA tournament in your home building.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool week for them last week, and we've got some clips that we can mix into the show of, not only the winning of the Big 12 and the celebration that happened after the West Virginia game on Saturday, but a chance for Coach Van Niel to drop the puck at hockey game. I think 7 or 8 of the team members were with him for that on the ice at Mullet. Friday night during the football game when the entire team came out with the trophy. It was really cool. I was kind of sitting back watching that happen, and just when they walked on the field carrying the trophy and the ovation from the crowd was unbelievable for them to hear that roar. They've been on the road every football game this year, so that was their first chance as a team to be in Mountain America Stadium. That was a cool moment. And then we had a get-together Sunday afternoon for the selection show, and a group of fans and donors were out there with us to celebrate. We had a lot of good news coming out today with Big 12 awards, Coach of the Year and J.J. Van Niel, Player of the Year and Noemi Glover, guest of the show. No surprise there, right?
Correct. You come on the show.
Bailey Miller on the first team, along with Colby Neal, who got drafted last week. Faith Frame, all Big 12 second team, and then Kylo Presley and the all rookie team. So
he took all my notes.
It was cool. We shared that with him Sunday, and kind of there was media there. We let him know it's kind of off the record for a few days until we get the official announcement out. But to get that amount of players and obviously our coach recognized from the conference is pretty telling. And then Big 12 leading the nation and teams in the tournament with 10 was awesome. And for us to be the national 7 seed, I mean, what else do you say? We talk about it a lot in this show. It's really a program on the rise, and hosting for the second year in a row, which would be the second time in 25 years, but back-to-back years is pretty cool. So if you're watching, get your tickets. We're subsidizing the student section to make sure that there's great energy in the arena at Desert Financial Arena for the student section, but we've had great crowds all year long. And so Thursday night, 7:00, really, really important match. And let's give these ladies that momentum to make a deep run, see what happens.
Thursday at 7, and then hopefully Friday at 6.
Yep.
So those are the 2 times to remember, of course. J.J. Van Niel, you nailed all of the awards, by the way. J.J. Van Niel, though, now is 3 for 3 in terms of being Coach of the Year.
And it's his first 3 years as a head coach.
Unbelievable.
He's never been a head coach and not won Coach of the Year. And he hates it. He hates the recognition, and I love that about him. But one of our most incredible leaders in the department, tapped into all levels of ASU. I love to talk about this. He's using WP Carey for student analytics. He's using a group, Luminosity, on campus. It's like a skunkworks team of sorts that's just problem solvers. Like give us the big hairy problem, and they find a way to solve it. It's a really cool team that Dr. Crow has stood up. College of Health Solutions, a number of other units across ASU. I mean, he has tapped in throughout this university, and so many people at ASU are touching the success in volleyball. It's been really cool to see.
He's incredible.
Yep.
He's also really good at card tricks as well. Friend of the show as well. So, yes, good luck to volleyball as they start their postseason journey. Hopefully in the show next week we'll be talking about moving on to the Sweet 16 if they can take care of business this week. Off to men's basketball. We talked about the trip to Hawaii, and, boy, it was a good one. A successful trip to the islands overall, 3-1 if you count their game against the University of Hawaii. Made it to the finals of the Maui Invitational. Didn't quite get over the hump there, but a big win over Texas, which will certainly help ASU as the season wears on. A true road win at Hawaii as well before they made it over to Maui. And I think more so than anything, Mo Odom made a statement, 26 points per game in the Maui Invitational. He was the all-tournament team member for ASU. And again, this team just continues to impress. They're a fun squad to watch, and a good performance on the islands.
I was thinking the same thing. Continues to impress, fun team to watch. And coming back home, a little bit of a recovery week this week, and then they'll get going downtown at the Mortgage Matchup Center against Oklahoma Saturday night. That'll be a fun first game back. And it was cool last week. A lot of people paying attention to the games in Hawaii, and 3 wins out of the 4 that they played over there, including the game at University of Hawaii. A lot of people were watching saying, like, this is a fun team to watch. And I think getting that platform of the Maui Invitational, such a great event, and so many people tuned in. I can't tell you the amount of people that were calling, texting, saying, like, we're watching. We can't wait to see what these guys do. And Mo Odom exudes leadership. He just has this confidence about him. I like point guards from the Bronx. Like, there's something to that, just East Coast mentality. He seems to like it on the West Coast, given the schools that he's chosen to be at, Pepperdine and now ASU. But, great for Mo to get that kind of exposure. He continues to be the heartbeat of this team. Guys like Pig Johnson just like playing his absolute fanny off. That was inspiring for the rest of the team. And then just this complimentary group of guys, 1 through 15, they're all contributing in one way or the other. That was a really important part of how the coaching staff built this roster. And they play hard. They play together. And I know they love being Sun Devils. So can't wait to get them back home here and see what they can continue to do.
Yeah, you mentioned at the Mortgage Matchup Center coming up over the weekend against Oklahoma, Saturday, 8 o'clock, downtown Phoenix. And then, of course, they'll be back at DFA for the first time in a long time Tuesday. So we say that because we'll be recording.
Yeah, come on out.
Yes.
Cheer these guys on. It's a fun team to watch.
They deserve it. They really do. And,
they really do.
And Pig Johnson, Mo Odom might be the names you're talking about, but everyone that's out there on the floor, you can tell they're first off selfless, and second off they're playing their tails off.
Yep.
And I don't know what else you could really ask for this time in college basketball. So wanted to give a shout out, of course, to the hockey team for sweeping Ohio State
Big time.
as well. And then women's basketball. That's the story of our show today. Marley Washenitz and Molly Miller will be joining us on the program in just a few moments. Graham, you're a busy man, so we're going to let you go.
Okay.
Wanted to give our dues to those two as well. Do we have real quick for a Sun Devil for Life of the Week?
I got just stream of consciousness, which I've been known to do, right?
Yeah.
Cullen Potter, first rounders doing first round things,
Yep.
kind of ending both games against Ohio State at Mullet. Really good to get that sweep at home. Just crowds were awesome. And again, like that football, hockey kind of overlap didn't seem to deter the momentum in either venue. So big weekend for hockey and women's basketball. And it's great that Marley and Molly will be on the show today.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I hope we can point out that a week later, Hail Marley, the T-shirt, is online and available for holiday shopping. So cool that we were able to pull that off, and it's selling really well, by the way. It's going fast.
I got to get my hands on one.
What you asked me a question. What was the question?
Sun Devil for Life of the Week, but that's beside the point.
I do. I have two.
You have two.
Cam Scattaboo, took over Mountain America Stadium.
Very viral.
Very, very low-key presence, right? You may not have noticed he was there. Nothing shiny about him whatsoever. It was, sad but cute to see him and Sam booted up. But always good that those guys got a chance to reunite. And, man, he just – what a Sun Devil. Got to tell him how proud we are of him. And I know the team appreciated having him back around. That was really cool. And then bringing it back to women's basketball, Jalen Strong of the Jail Mary with Molly Miller, coach of Marley and the Hail Marley. So we're going to figure this out. Somebody on Twitter pointed it out. I don't remember the handle right now. I apologize for that. But we're going to do a meet and greet with Marley and Jalen. Jalen's all about it. Talked to him Saturday night. He wants to do it. So Sun Devil for life, half Cam Scattaboo, half Jalen Strong. And we'll see Jalen and Marley together here soon.
I love that. I'm giving a shout out to Res Devil as well. In Hawaii.
Was it Rez? Oh, yeah, Rez was amazing in Hawaii.
No, I'm saying in Hawaii. Yeah.
He's amazing all the time.
All the time.
But particularly in Hawaii.
And he got a lot of FaceTime on the islands as well.
He's a handsome guy.
He is a handsome guy. The gold jersey looked real good.
Hate's having a good time.
No, yeah. He's like more like a dark cloud most of the time, but you can tell the Hawaii sun was really helping him out. All right, Graham, thanks for joining us. The stick mics have worked well.
Thanks, guys.
And a busy week ahead. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, sounds good.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Molly Miller, head coach of Sun Devil Women's Baseball. Back here on Sun Devil Extra, and our first guest today, you know her, you love her. They're 8-0 for crying out loud. Molly Miller, head coach of Sun Devil Women's Basketball, joining us on the show today. And Coach, we've talked to you a couple times on this show already, but now we're in season. You're 8-0. How are things?
They're good. I'm really pleased with the trajectory that this team has going right now. They've been really bought into everything we're saying, and as a coach, you want to see improvement every day, every game, and I've seen that. Still a long ways to go, but for the beginning of the year, bringing all these strangers together and trying to implement a brand, it's been fun.
You mentioned improvement. In terms of the first 8, you've had some blowouts, you've had some close games, you've had a little bit of everything, and that's what you want, I think, with a new group. But what's impressed you the most about what this group has brought to the table?
We've really won in different ways, and that's good to see this early that you can win with your offense. I mean, we had an offensive clinic against Santa Clara, scored 50 in the first half. Our shots were falling. We were really strong there, and we had to win that game with offense because they were hitting threes left and right, so we had to keep up. And then we flip over to UNLV game, and their team that scores the ball, and we held them to 53, and we won that game with our defense. So we've won ugly, we've won pretty, we've won on the offensive side, we've won late games with the Hail Marley. So the way we've been able to win in different ways, that's accelerated our growth and our learning.
You know, you mentioned winning in different ways. You've also had different people step up each night, and I think that is also a testament to maybe even just the unselfishness of this group. You mentioned it, so many new faces, so many new people coming in, a very experienced group, though, albeit new faces. But the fact that you've had so many different faces step up, whether it's been scoring, rebounding, passing the ball, whatever it is, defensively, of course, what does that say in terms of the culture and maybe the buy-in of this group as well?
Yeah, everyone has really had their night. You can't just say, I'm going to look at the scout and stop the top 3 players, top 2 players. You have Amaya coming off the bench with 18. You've got Elle and McKenna kind of sharing that load underneath with breakout nights. Poe has been really good for us. Gabby's been steady. Marley's been steady. But I think when you get that production, we're really hard to scout. I think we're really hard to scout anyway because our defensive intensity and the tempo we run on offense. But if you're looking at personnel, you really have to honor those 5 on the court.
You know, we're going to talk to Marley, and we already talked about the Hail Marley, but we're going to talk to her coming up next. In terms of what she brings to the table, tenacious defense, obviously an offensive shooting stroke that is very solid, and then she's been clutch in the big-time moments as well. But just coaching her, bringing her into this program, seems like she's always everywhere. She's so happy to be a Sun Devil, which can be rare for a senior transferring in. But what's it like being able to coach her and getting to know her as well?
Yeah, we kind of joke that we're the same person. You know, she's fiery out there. She's really wired in a way that gets her teammates to go. She's the engine that really revs our team up. She's got a great outlook on life, but on the basketball court, she's tenacious, and as we saw, she's headsy too. You know, she's everywhere. She makes the right play at the right time. She can guard 1 through 5 just because she's very active on the defensive end. She enjoys defense. Coach Norman gives Dairy Queen blizzards for charges, so she's racked up a few of those blizzards. But she's just a person that makes you a better team, and her teammates love her too, and that's a bright spot in our team, is that she's really looked to as a leader and someone that models the behavior that we want to see on both sides of the floor.
Okay, so you say that you see a lot of yourself, or you guys are kind of similar. Does that translate also onto the floor? Were you like that as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I love to take a charge, and I was a little more undersized, but I earned my keep with my tenaciousness. In fact, yesterday we all tried to recreate the Hail Marley, and I went over to the right side and did it, and she'll have to tell you I did make it. And I didn't think it could be recreated, but I'm like, we are the same person, Marley.
Is there video evidence of that?
There is.
Okay, we might have to try to grab that, put it on the show. I got to ask you as well about something that happened a couple of weeks ago, and it's a personal accomplishment, but it's also a testament to your coaching staffs and your teams over the years. Win number 300 happened in your third win at Arizona State. I know there was a video that went pretty viral in the locker room, the celebration with the Gatorade and the water. But now that it's a couple weeks removed, and I know you're hyper locked in, Coach, but being able to reflect on 300 already at this point of your career, has that set in?
I mean, you don't keep track. You really don't. Shout out to Doug or SID. Those sports information directors, they do a good job of keeping track of all those statistics. But statistics aren't a thing. It's the pleasure you get from doing it with each other and the joy you have of kind of reflecting on the 300 and who was there and who helped you along the way, and the staff and the players that you still stay in contact with. One of the biggest things for me was getting those texts from my past staff and past players on congrats on 300. I'm like, yeah, you were a part of a lot of them. So that's cool to reflect, and it takes a village to do this thing.
Coach, I want to go back to on the floor, and this is no secret. We all knew when you came to Arizona State you were going to bring a great amount of energy on the defensive end of the floor. And I think this fan base has seen that already. They've grown to love it. We've talked about how you've won in different ways, but that's kind of the calling card, I guess it seems, of your programs. Where did that philosophy come from, that tenacity on the defensive end of the floor?
I had to earn my keep. I was a little 5'6" point guard, so I earned my keep on the defensive end. And I don't know, my dad loved that side of the ball, so I guess that influence from him just trickled down. And you never will have an off defensive night. You just won't, because it's not about technique. Are your shots falling? Is the ball bouncing your way? It's just about effort. That's why I love it so much, because it's so controllable.
I like that. It's a good answer. And it travels, right? Defense travels. You always hear that as well. We're in the holiday season, so it's time to reflect, a lot of time with friends and family. You've mentioned before that without your village, you wouldn't be able to do this. Obviously, you're very close to your family, and your kids are always around. Seems like they're kind of an extension of you in terms of being in the locker room, on the practice courts, and stuff like that. My question to you is, how has motherhood also made you a better coach?
Oh my gosh, I became so much better with kind of the realization of what's going on, not just the X's and O's. Like, you become a part of these kids' lives. And I always put, Crosby's my daughter and Sai's my son, but I always put Crosby in my basketball player's shoes. Like, how would I want this situation handled if it was Crosby? How would I want someone to treat Crosby? And so I'm always reminding myself that these are people's kids, just like Crosby's my kid. And they become my honorary Phoenix Tempe kids. I love that part of sport. There's connections and bonds, and I've got big sisters for my kids, and my kids think they own the place, and they're running around. But I love the fact that some of my motherly instincts come out in the basketball court, because I love and adore these kids like my own.
I think that's fantastic, and it makes total sense that you would try to pick up on that and kind of learn that as well. One of the last ones for you, Coach, you mentioned relationships, growing connections. You've been everywhere since you took this job, all over campus, getting to know the fan base, getting to know the other coaches. So this is a little off the wall. Who is the funniest head coach at Arizona State University?
Oh, that's a toss-up. Powers keeps me laughing.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. He's quick-witted, but maybe even more so his assistant, Hicksy.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're giving love to hockey. Okay.
So funny. It's fun. Yeah, they're hilarious.
They have to. I feel like hockey humor is a thing.
And
right?
they're a duo, so they make a funny duo.
I love that. Okay, good answer. This team will be back at home at Mullet Arena, in fact. Perfect segue.
Yes,
hockey.
there you
They'll
go.
be, at home Friday at 6:30 against McNeese State, and then Saturday at 2:30 against San Francisco. Then a road trip, and then before we know it, conference play will be here. So we're almost there, folks. It's been really fun to watch this team trying to make some history, with the best start in program history. Molly Miller joining us on the program. Coach, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be joined by Marley Washenitz. The Hail Marley. She'll be joining us on the program when we come back. Back here on Sun Devil Extra, continuing on with our women's basketball theme on this beautiful day, Tempe, Arizona, in December. There's nothing better. I know she's learning to love Tempe as well. Joining us on the program today, Marley Washenitz from the women's basketball team. We'll get into your love of Tempe in a bit. But first off, thanks for joining us on the show, and obviously off to a really strong start this year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here in Tempe and at ASU.
Yeah, and you've really melded your way in well. Obviously, the big shot that we've talked about, we'll get to that in a minute, of course. We have to. But in terms of the team, 8-0, looking to go to 9 and hopefully 10-0 this weekend, which would be a program record for best start in Sun Devil women's basketball history. Just reflecting on your start so far this season as a team, how satisfied are you with this start?
I mean, honestly, we're not even that satisfied. I think it's great that we're 8-0, and, like, we're super excited to be able to say we're 8-0 and undefeated. But at the same time, like, we've had so many games that we've finished and ended and saying, like, oh, we could have been so much better, or this could have been so much better, and we just got to clean up this, and that. So, I mean, we're super grateful to be 8-0, don't get me wrong, but by any means, like, we're not satisfied with being 8-0. I'm super happy that our hard work's paying off, but at the same time, like, we have so much more to work for and to win and to do.
You mentioned defense and the energy. Coach Miller talks about it all the time. I'm curious, being out on the floor, now being in this system, can you kind of see the impact you have on the opposing team as a game wears on, just with your guys' intensity? Can you tell that they're worn out playing you guys?
For sure. I think, like, with our conditioning level and the style of play we've played and we've kind of formed into as a team, it tends to wear on teams in the fourth quarter, third quarters, and we've tended to have not the best third quarters, but I think our fourth quarters end up making up for it because of our wear and tear on teams. And the defensive side of things, like, we're really aggressive, and there's some times where maybe we don't get a steal or we don't get a charge, but we create a turnover, and they don't really necessarily show up on the stat or on the box score or the stats sheet, but, you know, we're giving up their possession and gaining a possession. So our defensive style is just really an exciting style of play to watch and even to play in.
Yeah, it's very exciting to watch, and I think Sun Devil Nation would agree with that. Obviously, the winning, but it's the style of basketball really as well. You know, I'm curious about your journey to Tempe. 3 years at Pitt, now in your senior year at ASU for the first time, and thriving in this system, it seems. What about this place, this culture, this coaching staff, so many different things, stood out to you in the process, and how has it lived up to those expectations?
Yeah, I mean, when I was going through the transfer portal, I had like 3 non-negotiables of like what I wanted, and a couple of those were just like culture, environment, relationships, and stuff like that. You know, I wanted to go somewhere where I was surrounded with good people, because you are who you surround yourself with. And I mean, the staff from top to bottom, they're not only great people, but they know what they're doing. And the versatility throughout the staff was really, really cool to see. Like, you have Coach Marley, obviously, who's won at every level, and she's a winner. And then you have Coach Norman and Coach Glove, who have been to, you know, the NBA, the WNBA, the Final Fours, and they have been around the game a lot longer, and they've helped in like those culture pieces and rebuilding. And then you have coaches like Abby and DB, who are kind of on the youthful side, bring that energy, that spunkiness. So it's just such a fun, versatile staff. And I think when you have something like that, there's so many different ways you can learn as a player and as a person. And so what really drew me here was obviously the staff one, because like I said, at the time they were rebuilding. So you didn't have like, oh, I really connect with the players at the time, because there really weren't none. So really just awesome that I was able to bond with them. And then I knew, because of who they were and what they wanted to build, they were going to bring in good people and not just good players. So I've been really fortunate to have the group of girls I have, and we've all clicked on outside of the court, on the court, and just really super grateful for them. You
mentioned clicking with your teammates, but we were just talking to Molly, and she said that you two are very similar.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah. I get it a lot too. Like, as a person, we're very similar, but then I also get after the game, oh, you really remind me of Molly when she was playing. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, I've definitely heard that.
That's hilarious. Yeah. And obviously a compliment, because both of you are very popular around this campus right now. Okay, we have to talk Hail Marley.
Yes.
I've avoided it for so long. I've tried.
There's only so long you can.
Yeah, but let's talk about the shot. I don't want to hear about the shot.
Yes.
What I want to talk to you about, though, is you hit it.
Yeah.
After the game, I'm sure your phone's blowing up.
Yeah.
How many notifications did you have on your phone?
Honestly, I don't even know. I know I had like a couple texts from like old coaches and friends that had reached out, just like, oh my gosh, I saw, like, I got a notification from ESPN and here's your name in it. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't even know this yet. So it was really cool to just kind of see the, I guess, audience it reached already. And it was really cool to just like kind of reconnect with some old people that I haven't talked to in a while, and just kind of rekindle that relationship and touch base and see how they're doing too. So as much as it was a really cool shot and, you know, time and moment, it was really nice to see kind of what the other side brought of it, and just connecting with other people. And I love getting to know people. I love relationships. So to be able to just reconnect with people was really cool.
You know, personally, my favorite part about the shot was, obviously it was incredible, but it was your reaction.
Yeah.
Because so many people would have just like held the follow through, I meant to do this.
No.
You were shocked. That was the best part about the entire shot for me. I'm one more question about it, though, in terms of like these great moments happen in sports, and fans just see the actual moment. Mm-hmm. You get back to the locker room, you then go home. It was a day game. Mm-hmm. What did you do the rest of the day? Like, your adrenaline had to have been off the charts.
Yeah, my adrenaline was definitely have the charts when it first happened. And then like we had to refocus because there was still time left in the game. So I was like, forget the shot, and I had to like bring it back in. And like obviously I was like so excited and ramped up, but then there comes a time when it's like, okay, the game's not over. Like they could do something, they could go into overtime. There's a lot more to play. So I definitely think that I kind of locked in towards the end of the game in that sense. But then once we got back to the locker room, it was obviously exciting and we were joyful and everything like that. And I really didn't care too much about the shot. I was just happy we won. And that McKenna really had her performance that she had against her old school UNLV. So that was just really happy for her. And then obviously to get a good win against a great team. You know, UNLV is a great team. They make tournament runs almost every year and top of their league every year. So it was just really a great win. And as fun as the shot was honestly, I could have cared less. As long as we won, that's all that mattered to me.
So the rest of the day, you're just chilling.
Yeah, the rest of the day I was just chilling. Honestly, I can't remember no, my family wasn't in town. I just called them, talked to my family, of course. Had to get their thoughts and opinions and hear about their reactions as well. But yeah, honestly, I just chilled out, maybe hung with some teammates, got some dinner, but nothing too crazy, honestly. Afterwards, I was like, I'm tired.
That's incredible. Yeah. You know, we're in a day and age now of college sports where things can be somewhat transactional.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a school one year, you leave the next, and it seems as though you've bought into the culture here. You genuinely seem like you love being at Arizona State, not just as a basketball player, but just in general. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
So what is it about this place? Like the school, obviously we've talked about the coaching staff and how great Molly and her staff is, but in terms of the school, Tempe, being here in the winter, all those things, like what is it about this place that you love?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the basketball piece, it's its own thing, but then outside of that, you want to make sure you're happy. You know, you want to be a place where you're happy, and to say that I'm happy on and off the court is really something rare to find in college sports in this landscape nowadays, especially with the NIL piece too. Like it's so easy to compare and to, you know, do X, Y, Z. And so I've just found myself in a really happy state here just because, I mean, the weather, don't get me wrong. How can you be upset with that? I love sunshine. So that was, you know, I'd take the summers for these winters anytime. So, I mean, that's one thing on its own. But outside of just that, I think like the culture of the school is really unique, and it's so fun because it's so youthful here. I feel like everyone's always supporting each other, and you know, we have such great teams across the board. You think about football, you think about volleyball, and you are who you surround yourself with, and we're winners across the board. So it's just really cool to be able to feed off of each other and see the support from other sports into each other, and you know, like FCA, and you get to make relationships with girls from other teams because I love my teammates, don't get me wrong. We're around each other 24/7. So when you get your space, you take advantage of it, and it's fun to reconnect and get, you know, pick other people's brains. You know, volleyball is Big 12 back-to-back winners, so why not pick their brains about it? You know, they know what winning feels like. So we're just really cool to see the success and like the youthfulness and the vibrancy here.
It's awesome. And I think you mentioned the weather. She's from West Virginia originally, then off to Pitt. Here's the key word for Arizona when people talk crap on the heat. You don't have to shovel sunshine.
Yes,
don't have to do it,
it's
guys.
Actually snowing back home right now, and my brother got a snow day, so
doesn't happen
I was like,
here.
I don't get those anymore.
No. And we're fine with it.
And I'm not complaining.
You can go to the pool right now if we wanted to. It's beautiful.
Yes.
All right. You know, one more for you, and we'll let you go. If fans haven't been to a game yet, first off, where have you been?
Yeah.
But second off, we're
doing?
getting close. 2 more this weekend at Mullet Arena, and then conference play will be here before we know it. For fans that haven't been yet, what kind of basketball are they going to see when they come watch you guys play?
They're going to see a fun style of basketball. You're going to see grittiness. You're going to see players who care and who are playing for something bigger than just themselves. You're going to see us playing for not only the name on the front of the jersey, we're playing for our teammates, we're playing for our coaches because we care and love each other so much. And we also care and love so much about the culture and the community here that supports us. So we want to put on a good display for y'all. We want to have the excitement. We want to have the engagement after the games. You know, we love meeting fans and taking pictures and getting autographs and all that stuff. So you're going to see a fun style of play, but you're also going to see great people on and off the court. And hopefully we continue that for the next couple of games and into this weekend.
She's a winner. She's having a career year in this squad. Keep an eye on him. Marley Washenitz joining us on the program today. Marley, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
That does it for this week's episode of Sun Devil Extra. Very big thank you to Coach Miller and Marley for joining us on the program. And we'll talk to you next week for another edition of Sun Devil Extra.